Hello, welcome to Breaking the Fourth Wall, Episode 3, on February the 2nd, 2013, Groundhog Day.
Woo!
It's Groundhog Day.
He didn't see a shadow. Where did he see? You saw a shadow?
I don't know.
Which one means there's no more spring? Or there's no more winter?
I think if he sees his shadow, it's 6 more weeks of winter.
I know there's not that.
All I know is that Bill Murray's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
And you're wearing a Bill Murray shirt, and I'm going to be watching Groundhog Day later. I'm also going to go back and reread the cool article that someone actually figured out how long Bill Murray was in the Groundhog Day loop. The director said it was like 10 years. Someone else figured it out to be just over 8. And then somebody else figured it out to be a lot more than that. But the articles are really cool.
It's a lot of math.
Yeah, there is a lot of math.
I'm not invested in that.
It's pretty cool, though, because they talk about how they learned how to play piano and ice sculpt, but to be an expert at any of those things, they say to be an expert at anything, you have to put 10,000 hours into something. And so they figured it out by that it was just like some obscene amount of time.
I'm Shaun Sorenson, by the way.
I'm Shaun Cobble.
Sorry about our little...
It's okay. Tangents happen, and they're wonderful. We got a lot to talk about today. We're not going to talk about a whole lot of the books that we like this week. We got a few, and there were a lot of books that came out, but there's a lot of other stuff we want to talk about too. First off, there will be spoilers in this episode. There's spoilers in every episode we do. We try not to just totally ruin a book, but there's some books you have to talk about what happens, spoiler wise, if you want to discuss the book at all. So we try not to ruin the book, but there will be spoilers. And some people are really crazy on what they consider spoilers or not. If you mention even anything that happens on the first page.
You find out he's right-handed.
Yeah,
oh, no.
they consider that spoilers. So we just want to let that be known ahead of time that there are spoilers.
Yeah. So if you hear us starting to talk about a book, just pause or go to the next part, I guess. Just skip until you hear us not talk about it.
Also, we have a couple of awesome sponsors. One of our sponsors is InvestComics.com. It is a great website. They host this podcast for us, so you can go there to check us out. From there, you can either download it straight to your computer, or you can stream it, or you can go to the YouTube link. We're on YouTube. Also, we're on Stitcher Smart Radio, so you can listen to us on your fancy, happy, dandy little smartphones. Or we're on iTunes, so we have one of those cool smart TVs. We can pull our podcast right up on the television and listen to it, which is pretty awesome. So check us out on there. InvestComics is a very cool site that has news and reviews. It's also the home of Shaun's other baby, Thick. It's his video review show, if you want to mention that.
I don't know if I would call it my baby.
His bastard child.
We do a quick 20-minute video of most of the comics that come out every week, and we just talk about them and try not to get too spoilery on those too. But yeah, it's pretty much all the books that we read this week. Sebastian and I talked about them.
It's more of like a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of show, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like or don't like kind of thing.
Pretty much.
But you can go check that out on there. There's also a lot of other stuff about it's an entertainment investing website. So they talk about not exclusively, but they talk about how you can make a little money on comics if you want to. There's lots of speculation stuff. There's a great weekly article called the Hot Picks, which we'll talk about later in this episode. But it's a fun website. It has lots of information. They do interviews, all kinds of good stuff. So be sure to check out InvestComics.com. Also, I think Jay, the CEO of InvestComics, is running a little contest now where he had his first published writing work. It's the Vincent Price's
Presents.
Vincent Price Presents. Is it?
I forget which number it is.
Number 1, I believe.
Oh, well, okay.
Is it? I can't remember the name. Sorry, Jay. I just totally blew my mind, and I read it just the other day, actually.
We still love you, Jay.
Yeah, but it's the first issue, and he's giving away a signed copy of it. So go check out Invest on how you can do that. Also, our other sponsor is Famous Faces and Funnies in West Melbourne, Florida. It is a fantastic brick-and-mortar comic shop. The old-fashioned kind of comic shop where you actually walk in and buy stuff instead of just clicking buttons on the interwebs. They're a super-duper, all-purpose comic store, so they have toys and accessories and graphic novels and trade paperbacks and single issues and wacky stuff. Anything comic-oriented they have. Also, in the same store space is an awesome store called Get Your Fun On, which is a game shop. Mark is the owner and head dog, big cheese of Get Your Fun On. They do all kinds of stuff from just general board games and simple games like Uno and card games like that, all the way up to really complex stuff like Risk and Arkham Horror. They specialize in Magic. They
So
have
much magic.
tons of Magic. They do all kinds of tournaments and fun play throughout the week. They do all the pre-releases for all the Magic sets. They have lots of table and chair space there, so you can play anything you want. And every Thursday night, they have a game night that is co-sponsored between Famous Faces and Get Your Fun On. So it's any kind of game you could think of will be there to play for free. So just come in and hang out. We get about 120 people every Thursday night, so it's like a little mini convention. Go check it out. And they do a smaller game night on Mondays now, which is a little less hectic for people who want to sit down and play some of the more serious strategy-oriented games where they don't want it to be so crazy and loud and hectic around them. But go check them out. Also, there's a Saturday HeroClix tournament at Famous Faces.
Yeah, every
week.
Saturday at 5:30.
So lots of fun stuff there. If you're ever in the Melbourne, Florida area, go check it out, or you can look them up online and do some mail order with them if you want. That's a great shop. One other brief mention before we get into some news and such. Somebody, I don't remember who it was, sorry, mentioned that we said we were going to be a mainly positive podcast and that we were going to talk about only the books we liked. And then we mentioned, I believe it was Uncanny Avengers last week, and we really didn't have a whole lot of good things to say about it. The thing is we think the book is going to be probably pretty good because we like the artist and we like the writer and we like those characters. We're just a little disappointed so far. And it's a pretty big book. It's the one that started out Marvel Now, so it's an important book. So sometimes we're going to talk about books that maybe in general we like, but it was a disappointing issue, so it's not going to be all...
Oh, there's one this podcast.
Oh, yes. We have a definite negative in this issue, or in this episode. Sometimes we're going to mention bad stuff just because we think it's necessary. Like the Uncanny Avengers, I think it's going to be a good book. I just am not sure what they're doing with it right now. And like I said, it was the kickoff to Marvel Now, so I thought it was worth mentioning and worth talking a little bit about. And in this episode, we're definitely going to have one.
It's just one.
It's just one book that we're going to talk about that is bad.
Probably never talk about it again.
Yeah, because I think it's important to mention this book because there's been a lot of hype about this book. So we do want to talk. We are going to talk about some stuff occasionally that we don't like. I just don't want to spend an entire episode on everything sucks. We want to try to focus more on the positive. So we will mention the occasional negative thing, but we're in general going to try to keep this a pretty positive. Pro-comic podcast. We want you to go buy good stuff, so we don't want to spend a lot of time talking about garbage. Unless you're into garbage, I guess. I don't know.
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch. So we're going to have some news this week. Not a ton, really. The big thing that's been kicked around is the DC WTF certified month. That's, when is that, April?
Yeah, that's April.
April.
That's an interesting title for what they're doing.
Yeah, WTF certified. We're not going to go into a whole lot of that right now. There's actually some teasers that DC released, so we're going to kind of put that towards the end of the podcast to dedicate some time to that because there are some really interesting teasers that they brought out. So we will get back to that. We just did want to mention that we are going to get to it.
And the other news was, I guess, I don't know where you read this. I didn't read it anywhere, but it seems like Dark Avengers and Winter Soldier is coming to an end sometime this summer.
Yeah, it was kind of mentioned. I don't remember what site I read it on. Sorry, that's terrible reporting. But it was kind of one of those, a creator mentioned it at a con kind of thing. And it's not for sure. But the sales and some other things have hinted that Dark Avengers and Winter Soldier weren't doing so well anyway. Winter Soldier did all right, but Ed Brubaker just wrote his last issue of it.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the kiss of death there.
Yeah, so and he even said in an interview that he was told that the book wasn't going to be a long-term thing, that it definitely had a shelf life. So like I said, this isn't definite, but just something to think about. Like if you're reading those books, prepare yourself. I don't read either one of those books. I read the first couple issues of Winter Soldier. I kind of liked it, but I'm to the point where I read so much, I have to get kind of picky with my books. I read a lot of stuff for review now, but for my monthly books, I just can't read everything.
I don't read Dark Avengers. I read the first issue of Winter Soldier, and I felt like I'd been reading the same Captain America story I've been reading for 4 years already, so I just kind of stopped after that.
Yeah, and it's not saying these might not get relaunched. I mean, they could very well do a Dark Avengers kind of thing under the Marvel now. You never know.
Just do a miniseries.
Yeah. So who knows? But just thought we'd put a heads up about that. Also, there is a wonderful, wonderful webcomic. I don't remember if I've mentioned it in the podcast before. This is only our 4th episode, and I'm already forgetting things. So that's maybe I'm becoming senile. I don't know. But there is a great webcomic that I love, my wife loves, everybody I know that's read it loves it. It's called JL8, JL and the number 8, and it is in no way endorsed by DC Comics. It is a completely independent thing. So unfortunately, that means it will probably never be published in a physical format. You'll probably never actually be able to hold a copy. But it is a free webcomic. Just search JL8 on Google and you'll find it. And it's completely archived. There are, I guess, just over 100 episodes. 109 episodes.
Oh my God, your wife spoke on the podcast.
She spoke.
We got to credit her now.
And we did mention this on the Facebook page a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
She's talking again.
It is basically the Justice League, the core Justice League members, at 8 years old. They're all in elementary school. The art is amazing. If you like the Balthazar and Franco stuff,
Tiny Titans,
or the Superman Family Adventures style art, it's very similar to that. It's really adorable and really awesome. Like, it's really well done. And traditional costumes. There actually is a couple of episodes of that makes fun of the new cool 52 versions of their outfits, and they trash it and go back to the originals. But it comes out on Mondays and Thursdays. It's a great webcomic. Very short. I think the longest one was
6 panels, maybe.
Yeah, well, there's one that was like a full long page. I mean, the longest one was the equivalent of maybe 2 or 3 comic book pages. Mostly it's like a 1, 2, 3, sometimes 6 panel page. Really simple, really elegant. It's Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern.
So the core Justice League.
Martian Manhunter.
And him.
And Aquaman?
Do they pick on Aquaman a lot?
I don't know if
Aquaman's not in yet.
Aquaman's not in yet, which sucks.
They should pick on him a lot if he comes in.
And their teacher is Mr. Schwartz, which is a nod to Julius Schwartz, the legendary editor.
Nice.
And they have I won't ruin it, but they have a really awesome gym teacher that appears later, and they have some other cameos, and then they meet some bullied bad kids on the playground at some point, and they're all, again, I don't want to ruin anything, but they're all like the bad guy, or the little kid bad guys of the DC universe, which is really cool.
This sounds so awesome. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, Shaun hasn't read it yet. I love it. I actually heard about it on a couple other podcasts, and everyone I've mentioned to so far that's read it has really loved it. I mean, it's fantastic. So go check it out. And the best thing is it's free. You can go and you could probably read the whole thing in about an hour, like all 109 episodes, hour maybe. So it's a quick read and well done. All right, we have a Kickstarter that's kind of interesting that's going on right now that I've heard about, and I'm a big fan of Kickstarter. I think it's an amazing thing, and I think more people should take advantage of Kickstarter. I've now been a part of 3 Kickstarters, one of them for a book called Lust, which is by Ben Templesmith, Steve Niles, and Minton 3. 3 amazing creators. And then I did one called Pariah, Missouri, which is a weird West kind of thing. And I can't remember off the top of the head the third one I did.
That's a good sign.
Yeah,
You just gave your money to something.
Well, no, this was one of the older ones I did. This was
Here's $5.
I don't remember. I know I did 3.
I hope this succeeds.
Yes. And some Kickstarters out there are kind of weird. They put their goals at too much, and the different levels you can contribute at are kind of, you don't really get what your money's worth. But this one, I think, is really interesting. It's by some known creators. It's kind of a cool little story, and the different levels, different pledge levels, are very rewarding for their money. This one is called Earthward by Brian Q. Miller and Marcio Takara. Brian Q. Miller did Batgirl, and he did digital first Smallville Season 11. Marcio Takara did The Incredibles for Boom Studios and did Blue Beetle for DC Comics. So you've got some known creators that you know what they're doing. It's basically like a space tale. It's also family friendly. It's like 7+. So, this is very kid friendly. So it's something you could do if you got a kid that's interested in the comics. Basically, Earth, the ancient Earth, is a fairy tale, and no human alive has ever seen Earth. It's been 500 years, and it was stolen from them and from some other deadly race, and these people, space opera kind of thing, or I guess they're going to go back and try to get back to Earth. And the pledges start at $1 and go all the way up to crazy, like $1,000 or whatever. But what's cool about this is it's going to be a 110-page graphic novel. And for $1, you get a thank you listed in the thank you section, which is cool. But it goes all the way up, and for only $15, which seems to be the vast majority of backers, which is called the traditional pledge, you get an actual physical copy of the book, so 110-page graphic novel, and you get a print, an 11x17 print of Marcio's Earthward cover, plus you get a PDF digital copy of the book, plus you get all the Earthward desktop wallpaper, and you get your name in the thank you section, all for $15, which you're usually going to spend about $15 on a decent graphic novel or trade paperback anyway. So for $15, you get a lot of good stuff, and you get to help launch a book, and you get your name in it. They're at $27,572 right now with 2 weeks to go. Their goal was only $30,000, so they're very close. I'm pretty sure they're going to get there. A lot of people tend to wait last minute to kickstart stuff anyway. They don't want to just, you get your money back if it's not started, obviously, but a lot of people don't want to waste the time of kickstarting something if they don't think it has a chance of going anywhere. So
I've never kickstarted anything. Just throwing that out there.
It's awesome.
I'll probably kickstart this, though. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's for $15. For what you would go just pick up a random book off the shelf for, you get to contribute and help, and get your name in it and get all this cool stuff. So it's a pretty cool deal. So check it out. Just go to Kickstarter and search Earthward. It's EARTHWARD, or just look up Brian Miller or Marcio Takara. But check it out. It looks really interesting. And it's always good to help creators start their own books, Help a brother out. It's good stuff. All right. I've been talking a lot so far. I talk a whole lot. I feel like Sebastian.
No, you aren't. You are not Sebastian at all.
No, I'm not Sebastian.
So I'm just the color commentator, I guess. I just chime in every now and then with my input.
But I want you to be just as inputty as me.
I will when we start reviewing comics.
Okay. All right.
You write these things down without me sometimes. Like, oh.
All right, so now we're going to talk about this week's books that we liked, the books of the week. I guess I'll start since I've been chatty McChat.
Well, I started the past two, so it's your turn.
My book of the week is Nowhere Men #3. It is an awesome image book. The writer is Eric Stevenson, the artist is Nate Bellegarde, and the colorist is Jordi Belair. Phonographix does the lettering. Only issue 3. This book is really hot right now, though, so you might not be able to find the first 2. I'm sure you can get them on Comixology, though. That's the best thing about Comixology. It's if I know a lot of people like to have the books in their hand, but if there's something that's sold out or hot or whatever, and you hear about it and it's cool and you want to go check it out, and it's not out in trade yet, you can always go to Comixology and pick it up because it's never out of print on Comixology.
It's crazy the age of digital we live in.
Yes, it's wonderful. This is a crazy little book. If you're a fan of Manhattan Projects, I think you'll really dig this book. It is kind of similar in some ways. It's basically about 4 guys that, when they're a little younger, they're kind of hip little, I don't know, just cool dudes. Like there's 4 very different guys, and they're all super geniuses from like Ivy League colleges, and they're compared to like the Beatles in a lot of ways. They're all just hip and cool, and they form this group It's basically this super science corporation to like better the world and create wonderful things. And so part of the story is about these 4 scientists doing this, and they're very different, and they have very different personalities and very different outlooks on life. One of them is a total dick, and it's about them. Part of it is about their clashes between each other. I mean, you don't really get a straightforward story about them. There's a lot of flashbacks. There's a lot of, the first issue shows them at the beginning when they first start this corporation, and then it goes on more into the future years later, and talking about stuff that happened to them over the years. So part of it is about them. Part of it is about this corporation now and what all it's done, and how one of them got really sick. One of them became recluse. One of them just left the corporation, and one of them is just pretty much running it on his own because he has to. And in order to keep it going, he had to do some not so public-friendly things. He's done a lot of stuff in secret to keep the place going. One of the things is he basically, I guess they bought an international space station, and secretly, no one knows they did this, and they have a team of scientists on this space station doing various experiments and various projects, and the world doesn't know about it. And you find out early on that some kind of virus happens on the space station while they're there, and they're all coming down sick with it. It doesn't look like it's fatal, but they start mutating in weird ways, and they're trying to get off the space station. Issue 3 deals with them getting off the space station. I won't tell you how they did it. But they end up getting separated, and it's about the different guys from the space station dealing with their separation. Also, the way this book is done is it's very interesting. When you first open it up, normally on the inside cover of a comic, you've got an ad of some kind. The inside front cover is the first page of this comic. So as soon as you open it, you're getting story. All of the info about creators and all the, I don't know how you pronounce it, indicia?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Indicius.
All that stuff is on the back cover, the outside back cover. And then all throughout the book, it's weird methods of storytelling. I mean, you get your typical panel stuff, but then you get a 2-page spread of an ad from World Corp, which is the name of this corporation, this super science corporation these guys started.
That's pretty cool.
And it mentions like these different things they've done, but doesn't tell you what it's about. So you're getting little like kind of interesting things about this corporation. And there's diary entries and articles, and then just random ads for what you think what would look like a real life product, but it turns out it's a World Corp product in here. And you get to the end, and there's handwritten notes, and it's just interviews with the guys in the not the writers of the book, but like these super scientists. The book is just full of interesting things and great storytelling, and I like the art. The colors are really nice. It's a weird book, and it has all the potential in the world to do really well. It's very hot right now. The issues are already selling for a decent amount on eBay, so it might be hard to find. But like I said, go to Comixology and check it out. So it's a great book, and I'm definitely hooked. I'm going to keep reading this book. I like it. I like it a lot.
My pick of the week is Invincible 100, written by Robert Kirkman, drawn by Ryan Ottley, and I love this book. I have loved Invincible. It's one of the first independent books I actually started reading way back when, and I absolutely love this book. So this is issue 100. It picks up at the end of 99. Dinosaurs had...
Great name, by the way.
It's a wonderful name. Robert Kirkman's kid named him. He held up a toy dinosaur. So, what's his name? Dinosaurs. And just played with him.
That's awesome.
So, Dinosaurs has Invincible's head, and this... It's a spoiler. It's on the first page. Invincible's head goes pop. And rips Invincible in half. And pretty much from there, everyone thinks Invincible's dead. After everything Dinosaurs has done to flood the Earth and blow up Las Vegas, now he's killed Invincible. But as you continue reading, you find out he's not dead. He's just... They pulled a clone from an alternative dimension.
He got better.
Yeah, he got better, and he's fixed. And I know this is the first issue you said you read in a while, so you're probably confused by some stuff.
A little bit. I read a synopsis of kind of the current events that have been happening in Invincible because I want to catch up on this book. It's just I'm so far behind that it's kind of...
I have all the trades and issues. You can catch up.
It's kind of daunting, and I work a lot and read a lot of comics, so to sit down and be able to read that much of a story it's hard for me to find the time. But
I don't need to sleep.
Yeah. I read a synopsis of what had been going on, so I didn't go into this issue blind. And even then, you can kind of pick up what's happening. They do a pretty...
Yeah.
I mean, there's some stuff that you might not understand what's going on, but they do a pretty good job of kind of filling you in. I think it's not a terrible place to pick up.
Yeah, this ties in some of the storylines that have been going on for a little bit, and also introduces new story lines that are going to happen. But there's just so much greatness in this book.
Oh, I didn't hear the
There's just so much greatness in this book. Everything. Brian Otley's art is just phenomenal.
It is really good.
He is one of the best artists. He's my favorite artist in comics. But pretty much, this is still going to be spoilery, but it leads back to Invincible working for Cecil and the U.S. government again, which I enjoyed a lot. When he was under control from Cecil, when he was working strictly for him and doing all those missions, that was some of the best stuff that they were doing. So the fact that they're going back to that's pretty awesome. And it just this is one of those books that it's a superhero book. It's one of the only successful independent superhero books, if not the most successful. And I really feel like it doesn't get enough recognition. Yes, he writes Walking Dead, and that's phenomenal, but the fact that Thief of Thieves gets more recognition in this book upsets me. But if you're not reading Invincible, pick up 100. Go pick up the first trade. The first trade's $14, and it's good. It feels like early Ultimate Spider-Man, but the second trade is where you get hooked with it. And I'm pretty sure this is one of those books we're going to talk about every time it comes out on the podcast.
I liked it. It's a book I've been wanting to go back to for a long time anyway. And then reading this issue really made me go, I need to go back and read this, because there are some people that appear in it that I haven't seen in a long time, and some cool stuff. And I remember how good the art was now, and I prefer Kirkman's writing on this. I actually like Thief of Thieves a lot, and I like Walking Dead, but sometimes the characters in Walking Dead seem to kind of muddy together, and you forget who they were. You know, these minor characters, you forget who they were, and they're like, oh, look, it's another random dude that's going to be dead in an issue or two, or it's going to try to rebel, and Rick's going to have to smack him in their place. But
that's true. Whereas I've completely memorized everyone in Invincible.
That's my very thirsty dog, by the way. I'm sure you could hear that. He drinks water like he's half drunk and not quite right in the head. So
he's special.
That was a water break from Fox.
All right, so the next book we're going to talk about is Aquaman number 16, written by Jeff Johns, drawn by Paul Pelletier, and it continues the Throne of Atlantis story.
Inked by Art T. Bear, who's been doing inking for 40 bazillion years. That guy's been inking on everything forever.
He's a consistent paycheck.
Yes. He's good. He's very good. This book was great. It is, like Shaun said, a continuation of Throne of Atlantis. I feel like this storyline has made the Justice League what they should have been. I heard a complaint that this was more about the Justice League than Aquaman, which I don't see because Aquaman's in it a lot, and it's...
Yeah, that's fine by me, because this is actually a crossover with the two of them that goes from issue to issue, instead of just, here's what happened with Aquaman.
Yeah, it pretty much picks up... It's like if you were to lay them one to the other end to end, like, it's one story, and that's exactly how a crossover should be to me. Like, not just... and it's only 2 books, and I think it's going to be 6 issues total.
Well, the next issue is the last issue, so it's 5 issues. Yeah, Justice League 17 is the last issue of it.
And they do a lot with Cyborg in this issue, so I'm really glad they're finally using Cyborg. And that was the dog squeaking the ball. You probably hear that in the background too. But I think they develop some of the other characters in Aquaman a little more. You get to learn a little more about Atlantis itself. And this is the issue that, like I said, that it continues directly from the last Justice League issue. And
you get the new Justice League members.
Yeah, where they call in the other guys, and you actually get a decent amount of them.
Hawkman's a dick. I feel like I need to go back and read that book.
Yeah, no, you really don't have to.
I feel like I missed something. Like, when did he become this much of a tool?
He's kind of an ass in general. The way they've been writing for a few years now is he's a straight warrior, and he's not afraid to kill dudes. Like, if he's threatened or whatever, he will take someone's head off. He doesn't give a shit. But you see several characters. You see, Firestorm, Hawkman, Vixen, and Black Lightning. You see Element Woman a little bit.
All I know is reading this, I still hate Firestorm.
I do not like the new Firestorm at all. I'm sorry to say, but I'm a big fan of the old Firestorm a lot. I just do not like the current incarnation of Firestorm. It doesn't do it for me.
The best part is the Trench are back, and the Trench was the first arc of Aquaman. Those were great villains that Jeff Johns introduced.
Yeah.
And those guys are just creepy and terrifying, and yeah, Ivan Reyes designed them, and Paul Pelletier calls them just as creepy.
Yeah. And I like the progression of this story. I think it's well done in its pacing. It's like a lot's going on, and in something like this, when you've got Atlantis attacking the surface world, I think if they were to try to slow the story down too much, it just wouldn't seem natural. You got a lot of shit going on at one time. Nobody can slow down. Stuff is happening right now because the Atlanteans aren't going to slow down. They're taking you out, and I think the pacing of the book does well to show that. There's one little panel that is kind of confusing. Do you notice? Or there's a couple of panels. This is somebody talking to Hawkman, and somebody very tiny talking to Hawkman. Is this supposed to be Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it Element Woman all shrunk down or something? I don't know. But
I'll say it's Mystery Person.
It's Mystery Person. It shows a little tiny script word bubble next to Hawkman telling Hawkman to watch out. And then Hawkman is laying on the ground, and there is just a black silhouette of a very tiny person next to him. So I'm guessing maybe the Atom. I don't know, because they did show the Atom in that Trinity War preview last year at
I totally forgot about that thing until right now.
So, but anyway, it's a good book. I think it's. Aquaman's been great consistently. Like there's no surprise there, but I think it's really doing a good job of developing the Justice League also into what I think they should be, and making Cyborg a really interesting character now. So it's a good book. Check it out. I like it a lot.
Next book is Hawkeye #7, written by Matt Fraction. It's two stories. The first story is drawn by Steve Lieber, and the second one is drawn by Jesse Ham. And this book is phenomenal. It is by far the best Marvel book every single time it comes out. It's the best Marvel book, period. And I hope nothing bad ever happens to it. But it is just great. This story takes place with Hurricane Sandy. And this was going to go into the next arc, but Fraction felt the need to write this. So the Hawkeye story, Clint Barton story, takes place in New York, and then the Kate Bishop story, the Lady Hawkeye, takes place in New Jersey. And I like the banner of them talking smack about Jersey.
And they're talking shit to each other about
Jersey,
where they're from.
New York, and but it just has to do with Hurricane Sandy. The first story is really, really sad and depressing. And I don't know, did you get a chance to read this?
Yeah, it's really good. Also, one thing you should mention is he's giving all the proceeds he makes from this book to Hurricane Sandy relief, which is really cool.
So that's awesome. So you need to go out and buy this. It's all the money's going straight to Red Cross that he makes from it. But yeah, the first story is him and his roommate. They're going to Safe Land, and they go to his dad's house, and his dad's just a senile old man who thinks everything's going to be fine. And I don't want to ruin it because it's a really, really good story. I don't want to give a spoiler out for this. And the second one is Kate Bishop, Lady Hawkeye, as I call her, just taking care of people and showing that she can actually be a hero instead of just a sidekick. And it's just, like I said, it's a phenomenal book. You need to go out and buy this issue. If you're not going to buy any other issues or wait for the graphic novel, at least pick up this issue.
Go pick up. It's the first few are in trade, aren't they?
No, the trade hasn't come out yet. The trade comes out in March.
That is the first thing you should buy because, and like we mentioned in a previous episode, there's only one story arc, the one about the tape that's like a two issue one. Yeah. Everything else is standalone. You could probably read it out of order, really. I mean, there's some stuff you kind of need to read in order, but if you just want to pick up a book, any of these books, and read it, you would enjoy it and see how good it is, and you'll want to go back and pick up the rest. That's a really good book. All right, our next book. Shaun hasn't read this book.
No.
I don't think Shaun wants to read this book.
No.
I'll
just remain silent the whole time.
Yes, I like it. This is Deathmatch #2 about Paul Jenkins and Carlos Magno. It's a Boom Studios book. They hyped it up a lot on a couple different sites, Bleeding Cool especially. Basically, it is, if you've read Avengers Arena, it's kind of the same premise. But this is an all-new world, all-new heroes, no one you've ever heard of before. So in order to kind of get you hyped up about it, they're releasing little character bios with like their power sets listed and like a very tiny mini mini bio about these characters. And it's heroes and villains from all over this new world, 32 of them, supposedly the most powerful ones, even though a couple of them seem a little not so powerful to me. And they get kidnapped, and they're in this place, very similar to Avengers Arena, purely by coincidence, I'm sure. And there are these guards made of light that kind of remind me of the old Imperial Guard, Star Wars bad guys. But anyway, they're in this place and they can't escape. And if they try to do anything to escape or to rebel, these guards just shut them down. Like, these guards are very powerful and can take them all down. And they straight put up a set of brackets, like March Madness style basketball brackets, and pit these people against each other. And sometimes it's hero versus villain. Sometimes it's hero versus hero. Sometimes it's people that are dear friends and they have to fight to the death. And it's not one of those where they stick them there and watch them argue about it and not fight for a while. Something is compelling them to fight. The first issue actually starts out with the first page is a hero called Dragonfly, and he's killed a hero he used to work with all the time, and he doesn't have any memory of it. And it turns out that even though he didn't want to do it, something compelled him to do it. He ended up they go at each other full strength, and one wins. And the second issue, a couple of matches happen. In the second issue, a couple more matches happen, but it's a lot more of them in their little prison discussing why they're there, what's going to happen. And they don't know any of this stuff. They don't know why they're there. They don't know how they got there. They don't know what's going on. They don't know who's holding them. And then it shows a couple of fights in detail, and then just mentions a couple of fights in passing. And then it shows, your bracket of who's dead, who's alive. The back of every issue has a nice little synopsis, kind of old Handbook of the Marvel Universe style. Even has some fake books that were their first appearances, and their real names, their powers, origin, enemies, some stuff like that. There's a couple really compelling battles. Two guys that fought next to each other, saved each other's lives, and were very close. And one of them is very heroic, and one of them is kind of a cocky, young Thor heroic. Very, very cocky, and they have to fight to the death. And I think it's a pretty cool little book, man. The first issue was only $1, so it was worth checking out. Now it's regular price, so it's $3.99. I like this book. I'm going to convince Shaun to read this book.
Never going to happen.
I'm going to convince you to read it.
Not going to happen.
I will read it to you.
That's fine. I'll fall asleep.
I will sneak into your room and read it to you in your sleep.
That's fine.
But I like it, man. The art's pretty good. I think the art's very good. I like the writing. Paul Jenkins is a good writer. It's not for everybody. It is kind of weird to have all these new characters thrown at you, but I think they do a pretty good job of fleshing them out in such a little space and time. And the one thing that has over Avengers Arena is you're not invested in these characters, really. You're not seeing characters you might really like die, so you're getting enough out of them to like them, but if they die, it's no big loss. And it's not Arcade running it. What the fuck is going on? Arcade?
Hey, that book's okay.
That book's okay, but Arcade?
It's okay. It's probably a dream.
I think this is just as good.
We'll disagree on that one.
But I like it. Check it out. I like it. Shaun won't touch it. Shaun wouldn't touch it.
I'll touch it because I have to unpack boxes, but that's about it. I'm not going to flip
All right,
through.
which would you rather read, this or Superior Spiderman?
Next book we're going to talk about is Batman and Robin Annual by Peter Tomasi and drawn by Adrian Seif. This book is awesome. It has to do with Damian planning this trip for his dad, and sort of like a game of Catch Me If You Can, if that makes sense to anyone who's seen that movie. He sets up little clues at different places that his parents have been, which is kind of messed up. But every time Bruce goes there, he finds a video file of a clue leading to the next thing. This book is more about Damian and Alfred than it is about Bruce, because Damian leads his dad on the whole time, and he's wearing the Batman outfit from Batman 666, the future Batman outfit that he'll wear. And it's just him going around for like 3 or 4 nights just beating the crap out of criminals the way he wants to without any repercussions, because his dad's not there to tell him no. So that's pretty awesome. And then Alfred,
so it's like Batman Home Alone?
Yes. Yeah, it's just going around, driving in the Batmobile.
I might go read this.
Kicking people's asses, not a care in the world. And it's just a fun read. It's an annual. It doesn't tie in death of the family at all, so you're not going to be confused. You can just pick this up and read it. It's $4.99, so I know that price scares some people. But for that, it's a pretty good issue. It's probably my favorite issue of Batman and Robin.
That's
so
how
far.
annuals should be. That's how annuals used to be. It used to be a nice standalone story. It didn't have to be in continuity. It didn't have to be in a certain time frame. Pick it up, read it. Maybe a good starting point for somebody. It sounds interesting to me. I'm gonna check it out. I'm not even reading Batman and Robin currently, but that sounds like a fun.
Yeah,
book.
you can just pick this issue up and enjoy.
And
it.
it's oversized too. It's not just $5 for no reason.
40-something pages, I think.
Well, so there you go. I mean, you pay $4 for a 20-page Marvel book. Why not pay $5 for a double size plus DC book?
All right. So the next book, dear God, Avengers #4 by Jonathan Hickman and drawn by Adam Kubert. I don't know what happened in this book.
This book is awesome.
I don't know what happened. I'm not saying it's bad. I like this book. I just don't know. I know not Ultron. Hyperion is introduced.
The only thing that was a little weird to me was
did you read this twice?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't read this twice.
Yeah.
So I only read it once, and I know I paid attention while I was reading it.
I pretty much got it. The origin is a little weird to me because I'm used to the old Hyperion and then a little bit of the Exiles Hyperion. So I guess the newer version, current Earth version of Hyperion is a little new to me. But
dogs running all over the place.
Dogs everywhere. Dogs coming in from outside, going crazy. The dogs are very much going to be a part of this podcast. You have to deal with it. I'm sorry.
Until Jared moves down, we can get our studio.
Yes. And there's Fox noisily drinking his water again.
There are co-hosts.
This is definitely a high concept kind of book. I mean, there's no training wheels in this book.
Jonathan Hickman just kind of throws you under the bus. Like, good luck, figure this out. Like, what?
Yeah. Also, to be fair, you're still kind of processing from the last issue that came out
a week ago,
8.5 minutes ago or something.
#5's out next week, so 3 issues.
Are you serious? 5's out next week?
Yeah,
oh
3 issues in 3 weeks.
They're on pace with all new X-Men now.
I think 6 is out the following week.
Oh, that's crazy, but it's a good book, man. It's a really good book. Art's beautiful. Basically, this is kind of a retelling / point of view of Hyperion. It's a follow-up of the first story arc, the first 3 issues. In the first story arc, Ex Nihilo or whatever his name was had launched this like kind of weird thing to Earth that was going to basically start evolution over again and like evolve the Earth into a new form or whatever. And so they've contained what they think are all of the sites. But they think that there was another one that they're not sure where it went. And Hyperion, using his crazy other dimension math and geometry and everything else, figures out that there was another infection site in the Savage Land. They're going back to the Savage Land a lot recently.
All I know is I feel like I need to take notes while I read this book.
Yeah, you probably should.
All right, they're going here. This guy's doing this.
So they sent a team to the Savage Land, and it turns out that AIM was there ahead of them. And I didn't know this until I read this book. And you get this also when through flashbacks. AIM is the one that pulled Hyperion out of like kind of null space purgatory and kept him imprisoned, and the Avengers freed him. So he is not very fond of AIM, but evidently AIM is has its own island now, and its own sovereign country, and they have diplomatic immunity. But diplomatic immunity doesn't mean anything to Thor, so Thor was basically going to whoop their butts. And
he should have.
I
got that part. I knew that happened.
Yeah. And there's like this cocoon, and it hatches, and these little alien people things come out, and they're all speaking this crazy language, which is the same crazy language that the guy that came out of the cocoon in issue 3 was speaking. And there's I keep forgetting to go look this up, but there is it's basically just a alphabet replacement cipher. So there is a translation to this language out there on the internet. I need to go look it up. So you can go back and translate everything this guy says and these little kid alien things, hatchlings say. But there's a lot about Hyperion and how his philosophy before he came to this Earth and after, and kind of start feeling for Hyperion a little bit. Guy lost his whole world.
He's fine.
And I don't know that whole origin, but did you notice that, like, in that origin is basically one Earth was getting ready to hit the other, and that very much sounds similar to the new Avengers thing with one Earth about to hit the other and explode. So I'm guessing they're tying
they tie in.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if they were directly tying it in or if they were just kind of retconning something.
You still need a PhD for both of them to understand them fully.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the book so far, though. This is a good issue.
Oh, it's good. It's just confusing.
It is a little confusing. This is a double read issue. You got to read it a couple times usually.
I'm not reading it twice.
Do it. It's worth it.
I'll just read 5 next week.
The art is beautiful. I think next issue they introduce Smasher.
Okay.
Because they've got some characters that no one really knows a whole lot about, so they're going to, I guess they're kind of fleshing these lesser-known characters out, which is good, because you kind of need that. If you keep throwing us the first 3 issues a lot, you're just going to confuse the shit out of a lot of people.
Me.
But it's a pretty
That's what
book.
he's trying to say.
As much as I like being able to get stories this quick, and as much as everybody hates that feeling if you read a book. A book comes out, you wait for a month for it, and you read it in like 20 minutes, and it was fantastic, and then you read it, and you're like, shit, it's over with. I got to wait a month for another book.
No, you don't. You just got to wait a week in Marvel now.
Marvel is shoving them at you, man, but as awesome as that is to be able to read so much, dude, you're talking $16 a month for a comic. Like,
you're buying a graphic novel.
You are. You're
buying an extra graphic novel.
You're paying fucking college tuition, man, for a comic book. This is a good book, though. I do like it. I'm hoping things are going to slow down. You would think that if it takes them 2-3 months to get out 3 issues of Uncanny Avengers and 3 weeks to get out 4 issues of Avengers, they might want to be a little more consistent with that. That's the one thing I think is bad is I think that you're gonna have people keeping interest in some books and losing interest in others real quick because of the frequency of these books.
Sales are already indicating that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's the same. And then I can understand that. I mean, I don't want to spend all this money on all these books all the time. I mean, I'd almost rather if they were going to do it just once a month, throw out a
graphic novel,
a trade or a graphic. Let me read it like that. At least, when I pick up a book and I'm holding a $15 book in my hand and it feels like a $15 book, I don't feel as bad as like going and picking up a $4 book every week to get the same story. I don't know. I know it's silly, but, my consumer mind thinks that way sometimes. Anyway, good book, a little confusing, worth checking out.
A little bit?
No, it's a tad bit.
All right, next book we're going to talk about is Justice League Dark number 16, written by Jeff Lemire and drawn by Michael Janet?
Yes.
All right.
The co-writer is Ray Fox also. Jeff Lemire and Ray Fox are the co-writers. I don't know if Jeff Lemire is plotting and Fox is writing. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really say.
This is the big issue where you get to see the face-off character.
Yes. They don't say which is the face-off character.
I'm guessing it's that guy.
But it's pretty obvious who it is. There's a guy called Infernal Core who kind of...
He's lava with a black coat and boots.
Yeah, he looks like a lava version of the alien from Enemy Mine.
He does have a chain, though. Chains make you badass.
He's got a chain belt and a black hoodie tunic kind of thing with black boots. I don't know. He looks pretty neat. He's fighting Dead Man.
Why they gotta fight Dead Man?
I don't know.
What Dead Man do?
Died.
So?
He dies again in his book.
All right. I just found a problem with this book. Why? I don't like when books do this, so this is going to be my only complaint, because I don't read this book. Where'd it go?
It goes back. I love this book.
Okay, so that art's awesome, but then they like CGI fire in.
Yeah.
I don't like when books do that.
Yeah, the art in this book is fantastic. The coloring is great. Yeah, there's no need to add effects and stuff. That's just kind of weird to me. You're right. But anyway, this book it's a middle of a storyline. I don't want to go too much into it. They're basically...
Can we just kind of bring it up because of the character?
Kind of, yeah. I really like this book, but...
Yeah, some consistency.
If I like this book a lot, but it's kind of hard to tell anything about this book without spoiling a lot from the previous book. They're basically fighting a guy who can turn off their powers, kind of make their powers go wonky. So Madame Xanadu is aging. She's no longer immortal. Dead Man comes back to life and then gets shot in the head immediately.
Come on. Why gotta kill Dead Man?
And then they can't really do anything to Frankenstein because he's not magical. He's just like crazy super science. But everybody's affected in some way or other, and Constantine can't tell a lie. So I guess they're insinuating that he has a magical power of being able to lie well. I don't know.
I'm excited for that Constantine book.
I hope it's good. I really do.
Jeff Lemire. It's going to be good.
Yeah. But there's kind of a dual storyline going on. There's that where they're fighting this guy who can pretty much shut their powers down, and he's got a weird glowing suit, and he like it's kind of robot looking suit thing, and he looks at at the different characters and can tell like what they are, like what kind of being they are, and how to nullify them. And then you have the other storyline, which is Timothy Hunter and Zatanna, and they are in like a fairy world kind of thing, and you're learning a little more about Timothy Hunter in the current universe. This is a good book. The art is beautiful. I really like it a lot, but you definitely need to read the whole thing. This is not a good starting point at all, because you will be confused as shit. There's just way too much stuff going on. But if you like these characters, and maybe you picked up Justice League Dark at the beginning, the first few issues, this is a very different book since Jeff Lemire took over. I believe he took over in issue 9, after the iVampire crossover. All the beginning was really confusing. He kind of just said, fuck that, we're going to go my way now. And it's a much more coherent book. Characters are much more likable. You're getting a lot more out of them. So go back to issue 9 and just start reading it from there, because it does all. You kind of need to start from there just to get the gist of what's going on with all the Timothy Hunter stuff and Books of Magic, and you get the origin issue, the issue 0. It tells a little more about Constantine's past in the New 52. It's a good book and beautiful. Like I said, I really, really like this book a lot. And this new character is interesting. Let's see. I hope he's not going to be a throwaway. He looks kind of neat. Let's hope he's not just a throwaway character just because he got designed on Face Off. Maybe they'll keep him around. Who knows?
All right. Next book we're going to talk about is the only bad book we're going to talk about, and we'll probably never talk about it again after this issue. Superior Spiderman #2, written by Dan Slott, drawn by Ryan Stegman. I got about 4 or 5 pages into this before I just said, F this book, I'm done. I just could not care less about this book.
I read the whole thing.
That you are a trooper, sir.
I finished this book.
Good for you.
Because
you should get those 15 minutes back.
I read the end of Amazing, the last 3 issues or so. The core of this storyline.
Right.
And I thought the writing was good, and the art was good, and I liked the concept. And I thought it could have been interesting and kind of neat. And I was like, a little cheesy, but the mind swap's been done before, and even the Arch Enemy mind swap's been done before in the Ultimate Fantastic Four with Reed Richards and Dr. Doom.
Sure, correct.
But hey, Dan Slott's a great writer. I've always liked his stuff, and Stegman's a good artist. And I read Superior Spider-Man #1, and
I was totally with that book until the very last page.
I had my issues with it, but I was still with it. I could see how this could be good. I don't like Doc Ock as Peter Parker, but you're not really supposed to, and he's got to have some growing pains. He's not just going to switch into being a good guy automatically. And part of seeing his character grow, that's cool. But then the last page, I was like, oh, are you serious? The ghost of Peter Parker, what's going on? And I was like, well, maybe they won't use him much. Maybe he'll be in the background sometimes, and maybe he'll pop up when it's really necessary or when it's really stressful or whatever, or maybe they'll kind of cut to him sometimes.
Fast forward to issue 2.
Oh no! And like I said, I do like Dan Slott and I like Ryan Stegman, but this book is a ginormous pile of shit.
Peter Parker's ghost is on every single panel.
He has more word balloons than fucking any living character in his book.
This is almost fun bashing this book right now.
Oh my god!
I feel bad because people don't want to listen to us bash this book.
I don't want to dislike this book, but it is doing everything it can to make me hate it. It was hard to get through, but it was really bad. I don't care about spoiling this book because it's garbage. There's a fucking scene. Half the book is Peter Parker with Doc Ock's mind trying to nail Mary Jane Parker, and he keeps going on dates and going on dates and going on dates, and she keeps giving him a peck on the cheek and going home.
This is about when I stopped.
And he just is like, damn it, what am I going to do? And the whole time Peter Parker's ghost is just bitching and bitching and bitching. And you're like, dude, I don't care. Shut up. And finally, he gets this revelation, the Doc Ock Peter Parker gets a revelation. I don't have to have her. I have all of Peter Parker's memories. I can relive those all the time. So this is basically Doc Ock reliving his real life, going, I'll never get the girl, I'll just beat off.
I don't think that was Marvel's intention.
That was totally Marvel's intention.
I don't think Marvel's like, let's have him beat off.
Dude is trying to totally have sex with Mary Jane. totally have sex with. The entire point of his dates is I'm going to score with Mary Jane, and he decides I don't have to score so I can think about it. Are you telling me the intention was not for him to beat off? Do you think he just went to bed all blue ball Doc Ock and didn't beat off to Mary Jane? Dude, this was all.
I don't feel comfortable selling this book to anyone anymore.
This was an entire Doc Ock spank fantasy. This is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, that's a Peter Spank thing.
God's terrible. And
that's when I stopped reading it after it showed all the flashbacks. I just stopped and went, yep, I'm done.
And what sucks is, like, there's some cool things in the book about how, like one of the things that kept, that's always been an ongoing thing with the real Peter Parker is Spider-Man is he can't be everywhere at once, and his life is constantly disrupted because he's a hero, and he can't let anything bad happen. So if he hears a fire siren or a police siren or sees someone get mugged, he stops what he's doing, no matter what he's doing in his life, and goes and takes care of it, and he's always his life is just getting fucked with all the time. And Doc Ock has this happen a couple times, and he's like, no, this is ridiculous. So he goes and like builds a better spider bot, and then has the spider bot build like 800 more spider bots and sends them out on patrol. And he has like an iPad app that says, oh, there's a lot of bad shit going on, but here's the real bad shit you need to take care of. That way he's not always jumping to every little false alarm or every little random mugging. Let cops or other heroes take care of it. How many times has Spider-Man went to save somebody and jumped in the middle of other heroes trying to do the same thing, and then you got a Marvel team-up issue where they fight each other and then make up at the end. It's like, how often can you do that? So it's cool that Doc Ock, without just without a second thought,
very angry about this.
But I hate when you have good concepts and you just destroy it with a bad book built around it. It's just like there are good concepts in this book, and there's a cool scene where Peter Parker's like, "That's a great idea. Why did I never think of this?" So you're getting to see the other superior version of Spider-Man where he thinks differently, and like, my life doesn't have to be crazy, hectic, always getting kicked in the nuts. I can do things with my genius and my powers to fix it and make things better and not always have to screw myself over. But I'm going to go spank off to Mary Jane. Oh, God, this book's terrible.
All right, we're not talking about this book anymore.
Okay.
We're done.
This is our clopper of the week.
We're not making that a category. That is not going to happen.
It's a clopper.
No, there is no clopper of the week category. There's no.
It's the clopper.
No, that's fine.
I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be damn near impossible for there to be another book that qualifies as a clopper. Anyway.
If you don't know what a clopper is, Google it and be very upset with us for giving you that term.
It terrified me. After hearing what this was, it terrified me.
All right. The next book, I'm just going to make a quick mention to it. Just came out this week. Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia hardcover is a pretty popular book. It's sold out pretty much. It's hard to get that book now. There's a $34 copy, which is the American version, and there's a $75 copy, which is the Japanese version.
Which is $350 plus on eBay right now. If you can find a copy of that for under $200, you're doing well. It's like leather bound, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty badass looking. So this book is just everything you've ever wanted to know about Hyrule, Link, Zelda, and it gives you a timeline, which pretty much when I saw the timeline, it ruined my childhood because it made me want to go back and play all of them in that order.
That's what interested me about it. When you told me there was a timeline,
oh my God.
I was like, that's kind of cool. I want to go check that out and play. And then you want to go play it in order, like play it chronologically?
Yeah.
Yeah, there goes the next 2 years of your life right there.
Totally committed to this. Probably.
How are we going to go to every con and start getting con press badges if we do this?
You go to the cons. I'll play Legend of Zelda here while you're at the cons.
All right. We'll have to do a whole new Zelda podcast just about that.
Oh, yeah, I will totally do this. But this book is pretty damn awesome. If you're a Zelda fan, you need to pick this book up. Find it and pick it up. And con season is getting ready to start, so I'm sure you'll be able to find it at some cons. Probably for a little bit more than cover price. But
you could find, when I looked a couple days ago, there were still copies selling on eBay and Amazon for reasonable prices. Around cover price. You might have to pay a little more, but nothing outrageous. Now, like we said earlier, that super deluxe limited leather
if you get that one, good luck with that one.
That one's ridiculous. You're not getting that one.
So the next thing, I didn't write down the little script that we have here, but
I'm going to mention some InvestComics stuff real quick before we get into
you do that. Oh, I was going to do something else, but okay. You do the InvestComics thing.
What do you want to do,
No, go to InvestComics thing, Shaun.
God,
I don't like that we have the same name. This doesn't work as well.
Shaun.
People who don't know us are going to be confused.
Just wanted to mention a couple of quick things from our sponsor and host, InvestComics. I mentioned their Hot Picks every week. That is a weekly article. It usually comes out on Sundays. We're filming this on Saturday, Groundhog Day, because believe it or not, we're both sports fans.
I don't want to miss any Super Bowl coverage, all 24 hours of it tomorrow.
Yes. I know it's kind of not a lot of
Starting
comics.
at 6 p.m. tonight.
That's true.
I'm not sleeping until the Super Bowl is over.
Your average comic fan is usually not a sports fan. I know that might be a little stereotypical, but we're big sports fans, so we're gonna
Go sports.
We're gonna go sports teams. I forget who's playing tomorrow. I believe it's the Invincible Manti Te'o girlfriend versus
Lance Armstrong
versus Deer Antlers.
Yes.
I'm rooting for the Deer Antlers.
I'm rooting for the... Well, I'm just rooting for the 49ers, so I guess they're the Manti Te'o guys. But that doesn't make sense. Go Kaepernick.
Go Kaepernick.
Hey, Randy Moss, you're not the best receiver in NFL history. F off, okay?
Oh, hell no, he's not.
No, he claimed that... we're going to a sports rant.
We're going to
here,
sports
I'm sorry.
rant. You couldn't shine...
He claimed at Media Day that he's the best receiver in NFL history.
You couldn't fucking shine Jerry Rice's shoes.
The best part, there's a picture of Jerry Rice just holding up his rings like, no.
Don't wrong. He's a good receiver. He's no fucking Jerry Rice.
He's a good deep threat. But
I almost made a terrible joke there, but I won't.
Stop it.
No, just
Stop.
Also, about that asshole is he decides to quit on teams when he doesn't like where he's playing. He's like, I'm just not going to do anything until you trade me, and then when I get to the team I want to go to, I'll be good. Jerry Rice never quit, asshole. All right. Sorry. Sports rant over.
For now, until next football season.
That's true. No, it's March is coming up. I'm a basketball fan,
Oh,
too.
God damn it, March Madness. We should fill out brackets.
Yes, we will. And I'm going to assign them all superhero names, too, so we can have our own Deathmatch. It'd be awesome.
Look, your dog doesn't appreciate that bad joke, okay?
Not like that.
Go with the InvestComics, though.
All right, InvestComics Hot Picks. This is not out as of Saturday, but it should be out sometime about midday on Sunday, February 3rd. I don't know why they're 2/6. He's got a different date on here, but that's okay. Just a little synopsis. Hot Picks are basically some books that InvestComics thinks might be hot coming up soon, and that you can probably pick up for a good price. So they go over some of the books they're highlighting now. Since Justice League Justice League of America #1 is coming out, they highlight some of the first appearances of the characters that are going to be in that book. Fearless Defenders #1 and Avengers Assemble #1. We talk about those books and the characters in them, some of their first appearances. There's lots of new heroes and villains appearing everywhere, all over DC.
Avengers Assemble Annual #1, you mean?
It might be Avengers Assemble Annual.
Yeah, that's what comes out.
But there's lots of new characters popping up all the time. So this kind of takes a look at that and, well, new to the New 52. So, and new to Marvel now, maybe. So they goes over some of the original appearances.
That's cool.
So that's kind of neat. Talks about some status quo changes in Marvel now and a possible comeback of a long-time cult favorite character, which, if it's who I'm thinking about, I haven't read it this year. This is just a synopsis I got. I haven't been privy to the new episode or the new article yet, but it might be a character that we're going to talk about in a minute when we talk about WTF Certified DC Month, which I'm very, very excited about. And they go over some hot covers of the week. So be sure to check that out. It's interesting if you're interested in stuff that might be going up in value or might just be hard to find soon, or just some new characters that are new to you and you want to read some old appearances of them. The other one, I've not seen this on Invest before. I don't know if this is a new thing that they just started, but it's an interesting new kind of spin on things. It's called the Comic Book Brokers Report. It's by Topher Seal, and he kind of goes goes hand in hand with the InvestComics Hot Picks. It goes over books that are currently going up or down in value that you might want to catch now, or maybe some stuff you already have that you want to sell at a high point. So it's almost kind of the stock market version of comics. This one goes over an old issue of Thor that has the first appearance of Curse, who's going to be in the new Thor movie. It goes over the old issues of Justice League of America from, I believe, the early 80s. That is supposedly the story that the JLA movie script is based off of. It's got some other first appearances of old characters. It's got some books like The Six Gun and Colin Bunn, the creator of Six Gun, some of his early work. It's got some other speculator stuff. Talks about some books that are really hot right now, like Revival and Peter Panzerfaust. And this guy's opinions on whether you should buy or sell right now. Some old books too. So just kind of a cool if you're into making some money off comics. If you're a speculator and you buy and sell, this is just kind of this guy's opinion on. And I agree with some, don't agree with others, but that's okay. It's an interesting read on maybe some stuff that you can go pick up at a good price now and sell for high or sell high now. But go check it out. Like I said, it is called The Comic Book Brokers Report for February 2013 on InvestComics.com. So, what do we got next?
Next thing I was going to talk about is MegaCon, the biggest convention in Central Florida, is coming up March 15th, 16th, and 17th. And in theory, we will be there handing out little flyers and stuff. So if people are there, they should come find us and say hi.
We are going to be there. We're going to be there as fans because since we are a very new podcast and we weren't able, and you know, it's so close to the con, we didn't get a table or anything. We're not that big yet.
Not yet, huh?
We're going to be huge.
Don't say
I'm
it.
going to be huge because I eat a lot of pizza.
I would be playing Zelda. You'll be at the convention. I'll be playing Zelda. Like, I'm on year 2.
But we will be there the whole weekend. I'm not sure where you're staying, Sean. I'll be staying at the DoubleTree, which is kind of the con-centric hotel where a lot of the creators and guests and stuff party. And we'll be at the convention that weekend.
Yeah, that's what happened.
We'll be walking around. So if you see some weird dudes walk up to you and hand you little flyers, we're going to try to get some flyers printed up with some info about the podcast and some info from our sponsors, Famous Faces and Funnies and InvestComics. But come up to talk to us, and we're probably going to, we won't have press passes or anything, but we're going to try to maybe get some quick interviews with some creators or whatever. And I'm definitely going to get some stuff signed there, so maybe I'll have some signed stuff to give away via this podcast. We would like to hear some feedback from you guys. We're not getting a whole lot of feedback. We can tell that people are listening. We can see your reviews. And we know there's people out there and people are talking about it, but we want some feedback from you guys. So check out our Facebook page, Breaking the Fourth Wall. It's The Real BT4W is the URL on Facebook. Or you can contact us, TheRealBT4W at gmail.com. Also, we're on Twitter at TheRealBT4W. So get a hold of us. Let us know what you think. You can go to the iTunes. If you listen to us via iTunes, there's a feedback you can do there. You can rate us and put a little feedback. You can. There's all kinds of stuff. Just get a hold of us. Tell us what you think. Give us some questions. Give us some ideas. Tell us some stuff you want to hear about. Give us some criticism. Whatever. We want to hear from you. And if you see us at MegaCon, come talk to us. We like to meet new people, as long as you're not an asshole.
Yeah.
Even if you are, I'll still talk to you.
I won't. I'll just walk away. I tend to do that. All right, so we're going to talk about a series that we think people should read, I guess is the best way to describe this.
A good book you should be reading right now that you might not be.
It is currently on the second volume. The second volume is called The Strange Talent of Luther Strode. The first volume is called...
First volume is Strange Talent.
Oh, the second volume is The Legend of Luther Strode. The first volume is Strange Talent of Luther Strode. And this book is one of those indie books that came out last year that just caught everyone by surprise. Written by Justin Jordan and drawn by Thad Moore. I think it's different colors every time. Different,
Trevor Felipe Sobrero.
Yeah. So this book is really good. It's about this kid named Luther Strode, who is pretty much the geeky kid in school who gets picked on and bullied. And he starts reading and he reads comics and he sees this advertisement in the back of comics, like the old 60s comics.
The whole 98-pound weakling.
Yeah, like the World of Atlas training and all that stuff. So he takes this and he buys that book and he starts training and he becomes a complete badass who can see your movements, who can see the future of your movements, can see your muscles and all this stuff. And it is crazy good.
Think of it if everything was in like Matrix-style bullet time.
Yeah.
And you wanted it to be.
Yeah, it's awesome. This book is really, really good. The art in it's really good. This pretty much put Justin Jordan on the map and got him jobs at DC, now doing Team 7. But the art in it fits the story very well. It's a very fast-paced book. You're not going to sit there and read it for 2 hours. You're going to be done with it in about 45 minutes.
It's very stylized art, but very good. Very interesting.
Yeah. And it's just seeing the progression of these characters. And you see a lot of progression in the characters from each issue. And then the second volume just started earlier this year, which is The Strange Talent of Luther Strode, picks up...
Legend of Luther Strode. Strange Talent's the first volume.
Legend. Yeah, sorry. I want to get that confused the whole time.
That's okay.
I think it picks up like 6 months after the first volume wrapped up.
I think so, something like that.
Yeah, so it's a very quick turnaround. And it's just him continuing to... Something big happens at the end of the first volume. I don't want to ruin it for anyone. The first trade's out. It's $15.
Well worth it.
Yeah, it's totally worth it, owning it and putting it on your shelf. And then the second volume, I think issue 3 comes out in 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I think it's about 2 weeks.
Yeah. You have anything you want to add to it?
Yeah, the first volume is basically his origin, kind of, and what he was like before, how he became this badass, the consequences of becoming this badass, and his family and friends and everything else. The new volume is, like Shaun said, a few months later, he's still out and about doing his thing, and he's become a legend. And people talk about him in whispers, and there are people after him, and he's still doing his thing. And there are some people that don't like that he's still out there doing his thing, being a good guy. And I guess they want to do something about it. So it's cool. It's a nice progression. This could have been an ongoing series, but I kind of like what they're doing here, to where they're keeping it in small chunks. And
yeah, doing 6 issues, taking 6-month break, doing another 6 issues.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's well written. The art is crazy, and I love it.
But yeah, this is one of those books that you definitely need to pick up and give it a shot. If you don't like it, then you don't like fun, entertaining comics.
You hate fun.
Yeah, don't be allergic to fun.
And there's cool extra stuff at the back.
Oh yeah, there's like little backup stories that are drawn by random different artists that he's associated with, and yeah, they're very cool.
A story called The Girl, and then there's Let's Learn About Murder. And the first one was the Valentine's Day Massacre, and the second one's Lizzie Borden, and there's some cool fan art, pin-up art kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, but this does the typical Image thing where at the end of each issue, you're like, God damn it, I need the next issue right now.
They're very good at that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the requirements. If you're going to be a writer for Image, you need to turn in your last pages first. Like, how are you going to end each issue? So, is that it?
That's it on Luther Strode. We're going to go and talk a little bit about the WTF certified books from DC in a couple months. They've kind of been leaking a little bit about it first. First, I just said there was going to be, it was kind of the code name around the DC offices that month was going to be, obviously going to be something going on, but they were calling it the WTF stuff. And it turns out that's really what they're going to call it. All the books are going to have a little stamp on it that says WTF certified.
They've already spoiled some of the covers on Bleeding Cool, if you want to look those up.
And they've changed some too, though. They've changed some of the covers. Basically, every book that month, I believe every book.
Yeah, every single DC book.
Yeah, is going to be a gatefold cover. So, and it's going to be, the gatefold's going to be folded as such to where you see the normal cover's going to be a normal cover, but when you open the gatefold, it's going to have some kind of shock WTF moment. And they haven't really said a lot about what's going on. They've shown they showed the unfolded cover or the folded covers, so you can see the part of it. And there's little hints, like the one that's been going around a lot is a Jonah Hex cover where he's sitting down painting for gold, and there is a 6-shooter in his face. He's looking up, and you see the 6-shooter in his face, and there's like a gold glove holding the 6-shooter. So there's a lot of speculation on who that's going to be.
I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, really. And
the Stormwatch one, I guess the writer leaked the cover of the Stormwatch one earlier this week.
Yeah.
So,
and
I have no idea what's going on in that cover because I have no idea what goes on in Stormwatch.
Yeah. There's basically DC released 7 statements, teaser statements. They are, the first one is Booster Gold reappears while an entire team disappears. And since that's the first one, and you see a gold glove holding this gun, there's speculation that Booster Gold is going to appear in All-Star Western, which could be pretty cool. An entire team disappears. I don't know, there's a little more speculation what that could be. The next one is one team is trapped in a bottle while another is changed completely. The bottle is, I would guess, an obvious reference to the Bottle City of Kandor in Superman, which has been thrown around a little bit in the Superman books. Changed completely. There's hints that it's going to be Suicide Squad or Stormwatch, which also could be the other team disappears entirely. The hints is that Stormwatch is going to be pulled into another dimension, and other dimensional versions of Stormwatch are coming out. And some of the designs on the costumes, some of the art that was shown, are older versions or different versions of the Stormwatch. So they might already be rebooting Stormwatch in the rebooted 52.
Meh.
But it's okay
They need it for sales.
because one of the characters that they bring out is a character called The Weird, which is a really cool Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson character, I believe in the 80s. So they're bringing him back, which is cool. I'm excited about that.
The third tagline is some heroes change their colors and others change their allegiances. Sorry. So that's only probably going to be Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Colors, allegiances, yeah.
You would think.
Yeah. Fourth one, Pandora battles to the death. So I know she's in Phantom Stranger.
Yes.
And the death is Spectre. Maybe.
They're also showing the cover of Phantom Stranger that they showed shows a knife bursting through the chest of Phantom Stranger. So maybe she kills Phantom Stranger, but since he can't really die, I guess he's just going to come back. I don't know.
Maybe that leads into Trinity War. A Close Encounter of the Dark Knight kind. I got nothing on that one.
Yeah, no idea. The next one I'm super excited about. If you remember a couple episodes ago, we talked about characters from the 52 or from the original DC universe that we'd love to see in New 52, and one of the ones I wanted to see, it's one of my favorites, is the Creeper. And this one is there's a new old Creeper and some old new gods. New gods and Creeper coming back is amazing. I'm very excited about that, and that's probably going to happen in Nightwing, is what they're insinuating, because the issue or the cover for Nightwing that they've already solicited shows Nightwing, and all around him it says "ha ha ha ha," and the tagline is something like "Death of the family is over." Could it be him? Insinuating it could be Joker, but we think it's going to be the Creeper coming back in Nightwing.
The last one is one hero quits, another hero dies. So someone's going to die. That's all I got for that one.
I guess
as simple as that is.
I guess BuzzFeed debuted the official logo, WTF certified,
and then it appeared in previews this week. Jerry and I laughed.
Yes, and then not Bleeding Cool. I'm sorry, Newsarama. Actually goes into a little more detail about what these might mean. So Booster Gold reappears. That refers back to Justice League International Annual 1, where Booster Gold, I guess, comes from the future to meet himself and talks about how you've got to stop Superman and Wonder Woman. And then it shows a picture of them kissing, and then the Booster Golds disappear. So they're hinting that that's what they have to stop, maybe? They don't know. I mean...
See, my only concern is this just going to be like, oh, thanks for reading the New 52 for 2 years, back to normal.
I really don't think they can do that. I don't know. I think they would... As many people gripe about how they want the old universe back, the New 52 is still selling really well.
Yes,
it's still doing well. And I think if they try to do this and reboot everything, they would lose a huge chunk of readers. I think they're keeping a lot of people because they're sticking to it. And people talk about it all the time. I mean, we both bitch about how we wish we'd see some of these characters that we love.
I just want Wally West. That's all.
Yeah, Wally West would be awesome. I mean, there's lots of characters we'd like to see. A lot of people want to see Cassandra Cain, outside of
I don't care about
Batman Inc. There's a lot of Stephanie Brown. They want to see Spoiler.
That makes sense.
But there's plenty of time. There's, 75 years of DC continuity, and we're only a year and a half into the New 52. There's plenty of time for these characters to come back. It doesn't have to be immediately. Some of the Booster Gold hints. Also, that with the Superman and Wonder Woman getting together, it kind of hints towards Mark Waid's wonderful, wonderful story, Kingdom Come. So maybe they're hinting that they have to stop Kingdom Come from happening. You never know. One of the Newsarama's theories is that All-Star Westerns cover 19, the Gold Glove is Booster Gold putting a gun to Jonah Hex's head. And let's see. And DC Universe Presents, the last issue of that is going to be issue 19 in the WTF month. And it says, in the final issue, what time-displaced hero has arrived on our world and is the destruction he brings the herald to a great disaster. So that's could be Booster Gold. Or maybe Rip Hunter. I love Rip Hunter. Yeah. The entire team disappears. The solicitations for Stormwatch 19. That's basically Jim Starlin's writing it. I love Jim Starlin. He is bringing the weird character back, which is cool. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the old Stormwatch Authority stuff. I tried reading the new 52 series. It started out okay, and then it just kind of got, I don't know, I didn't care for it. So maybe Jim Starlin's here to kind of bring it back to its roots and make it good again. I hope so. I'm just not loving it right now. The Trapped in a Bottle team has to be Kandor.
Yep.
The team changes Suicide Squad. They're already hinting that there's a new leader and people are dying or stay dead. I mean, that's the entire gist of Suicide Squad is people die. People like the old Suicide Squad, the Ostrander run in the 80s. People died all the time.
Okay, so I'm reading this article for the first time. Some heroes change their colors, and it's referring to Green Lantern. Spell characters' names right, please. Kyle Rayner. Doesn't have an O at the end of it. It's an E.
That's true. Wow, I'm used to Bleeding Cool. I only have really bad editing. New Drama's usually really good. But it happens.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, that kind of the characters changing their colors. That I mean, it could be a complete red herring by DC, but it the obvious point is one of the Green Lantern, possibly probably a New Guardians book.
Kyle's White Lantern, and others changed the allegiances, which is it says Catwoman.
I don't know if as soon as anything says Catwoman, you lost me. I could give a shit about that book.
We'll just skip that one then. Pandora battles to the death is the knife thing with Phantom Stranger.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to ramp back up to the Trinity War stuff, which is good. They've kind of left Pandora. I mean, besides the Phantom Stranger book, they haven't really done much with her because she was in every New 52 #1. They tease her a lot in that Trinity War thing and talk about her origin, and then they don't really do anything with her. So I think they really have to pick that back up soon, or no one's going to give a damn about it. So hopefully they're
a Close Encounter of the Dark Knight kind, referring to Batman: The Dark Knight, which is pretty obvious. Solicitations indicate Batman is missing. Whatever.
Yeah, that book I don't care about either.
Yeah.
Like, I love Batman, but there's just too many Batman books. I need to trim that down.
There's a new old Creeper. You nailed that with the Nightwing thing.
I'm so excited about this. Please let it be old Jack Ryder Creeper from the Justice League International book. That would be amazing. God, he's such a good character.
Some old New Gods, which anyone who's been reading Wonder Woman knows. That's probably that.
Yeah, they've already shown Orion and the High Father. I really, really hope they bring Mr. Miracle out. I mean, if they've already got Orion and High Father, it makes sense that they would bring Mr. Miracle out, scot-free. He really needs to be there if they're going to start doing this right. I mean, they're highlighting, Darkseid's everywhere, and they had Steppenwolf in Earth 2. They've got Orion and High Father here. It really seems like they're going to highlight these characters a lot. And so if they're going to bring all these other characters out, Mr. Miracle and hopefully Oberon have to be soon to follow. I hope.
The next one is One Hero Quits. This is a pretty awesome description. This is Batwing. It says so right in the solicitation for this issue. There you go. And another hero dies, which they're saying it might be Talon.
Yeah,
whatever.
All these. Well, the thing is aren't the Talons dead anyway?
Yeah, they're immortal.
Yeah,
they're
so
dead.
I don't know. I hope they're not gonna do that kind of stuff. Like if it's really gonna be what the fuck moments, then you can't pull cheesy. I hope they're not pulling. Phantom Stranger and Talon die when they're both dead and they're coming back. Or like, don't kill immortal characters that are just going to come back tomorrow. That's like saying Wolverine's dead and they'll grow back. It's no big deal. Like if you're going to pull some WTF moments, do it. And maybe this is the point where hopefully this month will be where a lot of questions get answered and a lot of stuff comes to a head and some of the weird Flashpoint weirdness starts coming out. I mean, you've already got some of the stuff like the Throne of Atlantis thing where Atlantis sinks half the world. They're trying to sink Boston right now in the Throne of Atlantis. I like that they're kind of tying that stuff in. And DC has all the chance in the world to really get in your face and do some crazy, exciting stuff with this month. As much as they're hyping it,
they probably will. They have yet to disappoint when they do a big thing like this.
Yeah, I mean they are pretty good. When they, Blackest Night was great, Flashpoint was great, the relaunch was great. I think they hit some low points here and there.
It happens.
I think they need to figure out some of their continuity in this 5-year timeline stuff. The 5-year timeline's just not working for them. They need to just kind of retcon that out.
Yeah, just learn to not care about that.
Yeah, and because too many people are picking it apart. Like I guess. Some people don't realize how intelligent comic fans are. If you leave something there, they'll find it, And
the Damien thing.
Yeah, that's big. But just this is a chance to clean up some stuff, and you can always clean up things with time travelers. Come on, Booster Gold, and Rip Hunter, and all those guys. So this is a good chance for them to make some awesome things happen. So I guess that's it for this week.
Woo!
I have a correction.
Yeah, a correction.
Oh, whoa.
JL8
Yes.
is at 107 currently.
107. Okay,
The
JL8.
wife talks again.
JL8's
Yeah,
at 107. Go check out JL8. That book is so good. Oh, it's so good.
I will probably read it and have my opinion next week.
It's just fun, and there's some like really heartwarming moments, and there's really funny moments, and it's really well thought out too. Like there's a scene where they're at a birthday party, and there's the snack and food table, but they actually make another snack food table for the Flash alone because he eats so much because there's metabolism that if they only had one food table, he would eat everything. So they give him his own food table so everyone else has a chance to eat.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, like it's not just like a silly kid's book. It's stuff is well thought out.
That's awesome.
And Neil Gaiman makes an appearance. I'll tell you that. That's a little spoiler. I won't tell you how or when or where or why, but he does make an appearance.
Does Sandman make an appearance?
Maybe.
All right, I'll read it. I'll have my opinion next week.
Awesome.
So,
All right, so get a hold of us if you got some suggestions or some corrections or some criticism or feedback or whatever. We are going to try to have a guest soon. We have one in mind.
you have one in mind. I'm picky.
That's what we talked about the other day.
I don't remember these things.
That shit cray.
Okay. Oh, teaser. That was pretty awesome.
But so we'll have some new stuff. We want to try new things. We like the format that we do. It's as you can probably tell, it's changing up a little bit here and there, but you get the gist of what we're doing. So we hope you enjoy it. Please let us know,
Bye, interwebs.
and we will talk to you soon. I'm Shaun Cobble,
I'm Shaun Sorenson.
and we'll talk to you next week.